Not the Footy Show.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Channel 9, buddy, they have made a bit of a manoeuvre, which I think we've been expecting. When they announced the extended rights deal about a week ago, I think it was on the start of the season, NRL officially announced, or start of round 3, they announced they'd be having an extension with Channel 9 and Foxtel. We were a little bit, well, not surprised, but interested to see a lack of detail around digital and the rest of it, mate. A story in the Herald this morning has basically announced, and I will read the opening paragraph. The NRL will block Telstra from streaming Rugby League matches from 2023 as the governing body attempts to strike a 5-year broadcast extension with Nine Entertainment Co. We've had a little bit of a chat before we came on air, mate, but what do you make of that little announcement from the SMH?
Well, look, the SMH is the mouthpiece, the written form mouthpiece for Channel 9. Yep. Because Channel 9 owns the Sydney Morning Herald. Mate, I'm not quite across these things like you are. You're a social media specialist and a digital specialist. My question for you, I'm going to throw it straight back to you, is what does that mean, first of all, for Telstra after 2023 and for the NRL 9 relationship? How do you see it?
Well, Telstra were heavily involved in the whole production element when I was at the NRL. They ran the app. They still do technically run the app at the moment. They ran the content.
The NRL.com
app. That's NRL.com and the rest of it. And effectively, one of the big challenges that it had was the infrastructure and the people power, the staffing capabilities to run that at a high level for a long time. And they had some issues that came around. And essentially, before I left the NRL invested a lot in infrastructure around their streaming capabilities and their website capabilities, and they were preparing for this big NRL media launch.
Yep.
Fast forward a few years, and the NRL live app experience is so much better than it has ever been. It's actually working really well now. The lag that used to be there isn't there, and full credit to not only the NRL team, but the Telstra team have put that together. But when we had the negotiations going on, all we heard was that Nine were running at a loss. They didn't want this anymore. Why do we need it? And there was this little undercurrent percolating there, which was around NRL.com and the digital rights. Would Channel 9 not only get an extension on the broadcast, but would they come in and take the digital stuff? What this sounds to me like is that negotiation has gone swimmingly for Channel 9. Because if they'd been able to oust Telstra from what I'm simplifying here, but essentially it is a naming rights ability to run the app and broadcast streaming services. The detail is that it is technically Foxtel who hand on the streaming rights to Telstra. And what the NRL/Channel 9 have now negotiated in this new deal is that Foxtel can no longer offer that to Telstra. Which means if Telstra aren't in the mix, then and the NRL aren't going to do it themselves, who's left in the ballpark? It's Channel 9.
Yeah.
So that is what this basically means, is that Channel 9 are in pole position to get the rights to stream all 8 games every weekend on their app, or what I'm expecting will be a hybrid NRL.com Channel 9 future 2023.
Do you think Channel 9 will just take control of the NRL.com app?
I think what you will see is, well, yeah, I expect that to be the end game for Channel 9. At the moment, you've got, well, Channel 9 have now absorbed the Herald, so there's another competitor in that space gone. The NRL's sitting there sort of by itself, sort of with Telstra. Then you've got Fox Sports and the Daily Telegraph monster on the other side. And if Channel 9 are going to compete with Fox Sports, if they can get NRL.com and everything that means, I don't mean just the content side, I mean the infrastructure side, the history and all that sort of stuff. That's a nice thing to have in the back pocket, and you can go head to head with Fox Sports. Now, the most, how do I put it? The least surprising part of the whole negotiations seemed to be that Foxtel just said, yeah, we'll take whatever we can. If we can get the 8 games, we're happy campers, and we can exist continually.
Well,
so
do you think
it doesn't? Sorry. Yep.
Do you think this will affect their KO streaming service?
KO is going to replace Foxtel for all intents and purposes, and it sort of already has started to do that in the future anyway. That's the whole idea. They've just opened up Binge, I think, which is the entertainment version of KO as well.
Right.
That's the future of what News Corp / Fox are doing. That's what they're putting their eggs in their basket. So as long as that's got NRL, they're happy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's what Channel Now and
only
now,
4 games a week.
No, they've got the 8.
Oh, okay.
Fox KO have all 8. That's part of the deal. They've got 4 exclusives. Well,
yep.
Up until potentially this, because if NRL then sends the digital rights to Channel 9 alongside Fox, then Channel 9's app will now have 8 games a week. You could stream.
Right. So what would be the reason? What would be the reason somebody then would want to have Foxtel? So this could potentially, on the surface, without really going too deep, this could potentially make Fox Sports null and void.
Well, I don't think it'll ever disappear because people they like that element and having to sit through an app. I guess one of the real differences between the Telstra app and KO / Fox is that you can run everything through your TV very easily through the Fox Sports or if you got Foxtel and the KO situation. The app isn't the same. It's still centered around mobile, and that's what.
Okay, so it's not something. It's not something that you can broadcast or stream to your TV.
It may well be. That's the point. It's still a few years between 2023 and now, and you know we're moving with technology and all the rest of it. And it just seems to me, and I'm not anti Channel 9 getting all this, and that's just an important factor here. They do some fantastic work with their coverage, and some of their digital content is outstanding. What is just fascinating is that you will have the NRL effectively giving Channel 9 what they wanted 6 weeks after they said we don't want you. That's the real the clutch part of this, which I do find
that's negotiating now, isn't it? I mean, there's lots of smoke and mirrors when you're negotiating, and the last thing that you want sometimes is for the person you're negotiating to know exactly what you want. The art of negotiation, but it's very interesting. It's a very interesting play, and I mean, it's an obvious play when you think about the way that we consume media these days. A lot of us, especially the younger, the generation, the millennials and the Generation Zers, love to consume their media via a tablet or a mobile phone. So the app makes sense. Whereas people like myself, Generation X, and the boomers, they like a television. It is a very interesting play, and it looks like Channel 9 are going to be in the box seat to cover all bases there, and that's obviously what you want.
And that's what they come out with. I mean, just the final point I'll make out of the article, for the NRL to give up this streaming control, inverted commas, of the app, pretty much makes them on a real island if they decide to stay themselves, because all they'll be is a content like another news reporting site. Which is, if you lose the backbone of this streaming element, then the reason people open your app and on the weekends and the rest of it, that's a challenge. So that's why I think what you'll see is a bit of a amalgamation, conglomeration, whatever word you want to use there, of NRL and Channel 9 into the future. So that's a little bit of news for everybody. There are some other news we need to get to, which is the St George Illawarra Dragons making sweeping changes at fullback again for round number 4. We will get to them in our tips here on Not the Footy Show after the break.
Not the Footy Show.
Pepsi.